Hello there. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my living room. Today I have filmed my version of one of my absolute favorite genres of YouTube video to watch, and that is the bookshelf tour. So in filming and editing this video, I found myself thinking a lot about why it is I enjoy watching these bookshelf tour videos. And I think what it is the intimate look at someone else's life and their interests and the setting of their home. I think it's really fascinating what items are important to people, what little facets of interest they may have that's reflected back on their bookshelves. And I am the type of introvert that can be found leafing through the host's bookshelf at a party if I need a break from socializing. I've been known to do this on quite a few occasions. So on this video today, I'm not going through every single book in my collection, rather more so focusing on the more visually interesting books. So there's art books, a couple of photo books in here. I'm not going to be talking about novels today. I may in a future video talk about favorite novels of mine, but again, this one is really focused on visually interesting books. And you'll see in the video I'll pluck a few of those off of the shelves to do a quick leaf through with you. I also have a shameless obsession with trying to surround myself with beauty at all times, meaning that I am a shameless maximalist and there's lots of decor items on top of my bookshelves. And I did spend a few moments going through those as well, really just trying to make the type of video I would be interested in watching. So I hope you find it fun and relaxing and inspiring. Please grab a cup of tea, sit back and relax, and enjoy the video. All right, starting with a quick shot of my sweet elderly kitty just hanging out in a moonbeam on her favorite chair. And then this is going to be the first bookshelf, but we'll take a quick detour to look above it first. I've got this reproduction of The Unicorn Rests in a Garden from the late 15th century unicorn tapestries. And then below it is the Neuschwanstein 19th century German castle. And then I just love skeleton keys. I think they're really magical and a little uncanny, so I like to keep those around. On the right there is the gargoyle that guards my home. This is a vintage style marble. I got this from a really cool toy store in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, so there's a little collection of those marbles kind of living in that little Grecian head over there on the left. And then just starting down here, I've got Flora's Feast. So this is an illustrated book by Walter Crane. This was originally published in, I believe, 1886. And on the very first page, you'll see a really sweet inscription from my grandmother to my aunt from April of 1990. And so when my aunt passed away, I did inherit this book from her. These are just really beautiful botanical illustrations of all these characters kind of embodying the spirit of the flowers. And I find that the illustrations of the flowers are pretty accurate, so you could sort of use this to ID flowers, in my opinion. And I also kind of want a tattoo of one of those images. Then we have The Sacred Ring, The Pagan Origins of British Folk Festivals and Customs by Michael Howard. This was published in 1995. So the back of the book says, "From Yuletide to Halloween, the progress of the year is marked in folk tradition by customs and festivals, recording the changing seasons." So if you have interest in agrarian traditions from the British Isles, I would definitely recommend this one. Keeping on that same theme, we have got The Wheel of the Year. An Illustrated Guide to Nature's Rhythms by Fiona Cook and illustrated by Jessica Roux. This is a really good one for like a family or children as well. It's really accessible. And again, just talking about living in accordance with the earth's rhythms. What is in season at the time? What's growing around you at the time? Spending lots of time outside. And I love this altar here for Lunasa or Lammas, which, if you're acquainted with paganism, you may know that the Northern Hemisphere just celebrated that on August 1st, and it's the first harvest festival of the year. Next, we've got this book, The Green Man by Kathleen Basford. This is a survey of green man, sometimes called foliate heads, in various cathedrals and churches. If you're unfamiliar, the green man is a motif that pops up kind of representing the wild woods or forest, the fertility of the earth. That's just kind of, I guess, my personal interpretation of it. Some of them are a little bit eerie, but they're really kind of mysterious and fascinating. Kind of that intersection of paganism and Christianity. Then we have the Green Mysteries. I remember there was a lot of excitement when this book came out. This came out in 2022. I'm just kind of showing these really nice illustrated full color plate photos throughout various points of the book. This is kind of about the like occult, folklore, magic meaning behind various plants. I definitely recommend this one. It is a tome though. I feel like I've barely skimmed like 5% of it. I have a long ways to go with that one. Then I just grabbed this really beautiful February 1992 Valentine edition of Victoria magazine. This kind of represents a bit of a Victorian revival during the 1990s. And my parents had a Victorian style bedroom when I was growing up, and my mom was a big fan of this magazine. So I did pick up a few of these on Etsy recently just to kind of look through and get some inspiration. I just love the lighting and the colors. It speaks to me. It's kind of about just creating beauty around you. I love the clothing and the old advertisements in it as well. Down on this shelf is kind of a lot of novels. Over there on the right are letters from my pen pal. And then if you love oysters like I do, consider the Oyster short little book by M.F.K. Fisher is kind of like a love letter to oysters, so I would recommend that. Then I was just showing this really cute copy of Grimm's Fairy Tales. I love the colors and the illustrations on that one. I'm going to gloss over that shelf because, again, we're focusing more on like picture heavy books in this video, but I might come back and do another one more about novels. Then we have the Halloween Encyclopedia by Lisa Morton, who I think is the queen of Halloween, at least the queen historian of Halloween. Any topic at all related to Halloween, historic or contemporary, you can most likely find an entry for it in this encyclopedia. And as you can see, she's got some nice black and white photographs throughout as well. But if you want to brush up on your Halloween information, I definitely recommend this encyclopedia. I think I got that from a used library sale. Also by Lisa Morton is Trick or Treat, A History of Halloween, in which she starts at the Celtic origins when Halloween was known more widely as Samhain, all the way through contemporary trick-or-treating customs. Definitely would recommend that, especially for reading during October. Then we've got Step Right This Way. This is a collection of circus photographs by Edward J. Kelty from the 1920s to the 1940s in the United States. I got this one from a used bookstore local to me. It is spooky. Obviously, there's a very dark history there with circuses, especially at this time. So I do find this book to be slightly cursed, perhaps. But I love some of the photos, like this sweet girl with her horse is just adorable. There's some good costume inspiration in that book too. So that is that whole bookshelf done there, just doing a quick scan. And moving on to the next one. This one is like mostly art supplies. So all of the boxes that you see are full of art and sewing and embroidery supplies. And then I do have some art books that I'm going to show you as well. Over there on the left, I have some pieces of Mexican folk art, the bird mask, which was a gift from a friend, that yellow devil figure my mom got for me in Mexico. My family is Mexican, so I love Mexican folk art. I've got Saint Billie Holiday in the back there. And then this blue figure here was inspired by this ancient Mayan figure that I'm going to put up on the screen. And I made her in a ceramics class in college. Over here is a couple of really fun sticker books. You may have seen them around. They're in a lot of bookstores. This Wicca sticker book is full of some really great like Pre-Raphaelites images, tarot images. They are paper stickers, so they're not super durable, but if you like to send letters, they're really good for that. And then this antiquarian sticker book is great too. I opened it to a very strange page. I really enjoy the like Victorian ephemera images in here, how they're seasonal. There will be like a winter page, a summer page. Yeah, so moving down into some of the art books, these are all books that I reach for all the time for reference when I'm doing sketching and painting. This annotated art book is really fabulous. Basically, the way it's laid out is they've got like a nice full color image of a masterwork in the middle of the page, and then surrounded by a breakdown of all the different symbols that can be found in the painting, a brief little bio on the artist. It's like a crash course on art history. If you can get your hands on the same book or one similar to it, you can really learn a lot. And if you are a visual artist, you may find yourself grabbing it to use it as a reference as well. Then I just grabbed this really cool masks book right off my shelf. This is one that I've had for a long time. Basically just these really striking photographs of masks all throughout history from all over the world. They're photographed so well with this like really dark black background and lit really well. Some of them are quite spooky and eerie, and it's really just about the history of masks and masquerading, the ritual associated with that. If you have a fascination with masks and disguises, you may be interested in that. This is The Return of King Arthur. This is a really cool book. This is kind of about the resurgence of medieval imagery and Arthurian legend in the Victorian era. Very romantic, very steeped in legend and lore and chivalry and romance, and a time far from the past. And I really enjoy the illustrations and colors in this. It's kind of cool to look at one period of time through the eyes of a different period of time, both of which were kind of long ago to us now. Then speaking of medieval, I have got this illuminated manuscripts book that I got kind of recently. Again, just for inspiration in my own artwork. The color schemes are really unique. That one on the left is quite striking. I enjoy the layout of the smaller picture surrounded by a frame of all of these almost psychedelic floral patterns and designs. You can almost see how like maybe the 1960s psychedelic art was influenced by it. You could sort of just get lost in the swirling patterns. And then I just felt inclined to quickly grab this little mushrooms and toadstools book off my shelf. I love this one as a reference too. Something I love about it is they're not photographs. Oh, there's my kitty checking things out. I love that these images are not photographs or digital. They're actual like watercolor paintings. That's always nice to find in a reference book. Then we've got What People Wore When. This is a pretty famous book, but it basically starts from ancient times to more contemporary times, going through just exactly what the title suggests, what people were wearing at different class levels, different occupations. Both men and women are represented in here. I did read in the beginning, like the updated forward of the book, that it's not perfectly historically accurate. I guess like some of the colors of the textiles are a little bit off, for example, but it's still really fun and educational to look through. Really inspiring. And that's kind of just a scan of everything that we just looked at. Then we move on to the final bookshelf on this little tour. This one is in my bedroom. There's just a quick overview there. On the very top here, this is an antique jewelry box that my mom gave me. I believe she got it when she was a teenager. Yeah, there's some kind of game going on here with that figure with the blindfold and then the broken pottery. I'm not really sure what's going on in that scene. It's really interesting. And then this is my much more contemporary jewelry box. Just doing a quick little peek of my jewelry. A lot of these pieces I made. I do love making jewelry. And then above is this really amazing 1970s astrological chart. Again, I'm pretty sure this was my mom's when she was a teenager in the 70s. And then just a really quick little glance at my perfume. This is the Peach Obscene or Petch Obscene, I'm not sure how to say it, collaboration with Chelsea Wolfe, one of my favorite musicians. It's like a dirty patchouli peach scent. It's really unique. And then back here is a pot that I glazed that was then raku fired. So I didn't make or throw the pot myself, but I did get to glaze it, which was really fun. And here is a really special goddess figurine that my pen pal made and very kindly mailed to me. Any of the bones or skulls over here that I'm about to show, these were all from animals that had just passed away naturally in the woods, and either myself or my brother found them. Then we have a little 2-minute hourglass with some black sand and this great goddess figure. I'll put up on the screen some actual historic goddess figures. That's a photo that I took, but this is like a reproduction. And then down here, starting to look at the books on this shelf here. This moon book here is a really great, clear guide. If you feel inclined to living with the rhythms of the moon, I would definitely recommend that one. And then I had to give a quick shout out to the very famous Scott Cunningham Wicca book. I got this when I was, I think, 18 years old, and it kind of started me on my witchy path, so I had to give a quick shout out. Then we've got Full Moon Feast. This is a great book if you want to, again, live with the rhythms of the moon, but specifically seasonally with food that's available. The author, like, instead of going by month, she goes full moon by full moon throughout the year, talking about what our ancestors would have eaten around each full moon, what food would have been available at the time. It's a really great one. Then we have the fairy section. I have a great love for fairies, and it all started with these flower fairy books that my mom used to read to me when I was a really little girl. You may be familiar with these already. They're really famous. So the poems and pictures are by Cicely Mary Barker. And so they've got these great floral illustrations with an accompanying little fairy, and then a poem that goes with each one. My mom bought these in London in the 70s. Have to just shout out the picture of Dorian Gray, one of my favorite books of all time. This book, Her Blood is Gold, if you want to live in more alignment with your menstrual cycle, I would definitely recommend that book. Some of these I haven't read yet. Tarot and the Archetypal Journey is a great, like a Jungian interpretation of tarot cards. That one I have read, and it is pretty incredible. Just some more fiction. Again, we're sort of glossing over fiction today, just focusing on like image-heavy books, but there's some favorites on this shelf as well. And then, up here is some Green Man masks that I made in a workshop that I taught for the summer solstice. They're nice and dried and curled up now. So I love the Green Man, if you can't tell. Down here, we have got another Halloween book, and it's falling apart. I think some of the books stayed on the shelf when I grabbed the cover off. I've had it for many years, but it's just like really great vintage Halloween images. More perfume samples in that blue box there if you were curious. And then down here, I'm going to go through a few different books in a row, because some of my favorite books are down here on this bottom shelf. And we're going to start with this Illustrated Signs and Symbols source book. If you do feel yourself drawn to symbolism and imagery from different cultures, maybe like the meaning behind different plants or animals and artwork, this one is really, really fun to look through. It's fun to close your eyes and open the page randomly, and even if you think it would be a symbol or a topic that you wouldn't be interested in, I can guarantee you this book will suck you in. The Classical Cookbook. This is great. This is based off of one of the earliest cookbooks written by Apicius, I want to say. So these are just really like ancient Greco-Roman recipes that the author Sally Granger has adapted for modern cooks. If you're interested in ancient history, definitely check this one out. Then we've got Aphrodite, a memoir of the senses. This is a very fun, sensual little book. I put it right after the last one because it's sort of a cookbook. It's like an aphrodisiac cookbook. So it's a little bit spicy. And no pun intended. There's some fun little sensual stories throughout. I just wanted to include it because it is pretty unique. And that's got to be one of the greatest author photos of all time. Then we have Sing a Season Song. Again, this kind of continues that theme of like the Wheel of the Year, living seasonally. I guess this is technically a children's book. I think it's kind of for everyone, but I think these are some of the most striking illustrations that I've seen in a book in a long time. Of course, I have got the very beautiful Jim Kay illustrated Harry Potter books, which are really lovely. And then lastly for this video, I did just grab this Moonbox collection that I got from my local bookstore. I haven't dug into this one yet, but it looks really cool. I like how there's one about werewolves. They're just these really nice little like hardcover books. All right, that is going to wrap it up for my bookshelf tour at this time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you find it relaxing. I hope you found it inspirational and enjoyable. And thank you for joining me. I will probably make another video soon. It's really fun as it turns out. All right, take care. Bye-bye.